Welcome everybody. It is what is this? It is Wednesday after Christmas.
Very good.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Wednesday after Christmas. Last time we'll get together like this. This is not Christmas Day.
No, this is not
Let's
Christmas
start
Day.
over. Let's just redo this whole
I think it's
thing.
the 28th.
Yeah.
Ready? Hi everybody. Good to be with you again. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast, this video. We're really glad to jump in and talk about what went on over the weekend. A little deeper look into just what God did over the weekends, over Thursday and Sunday. So we had a great time, Christmas Eve, coming out of that. Christmas time in this kind of weird week of the year when nothing much is happening and everybody's hanging out. Some are anyway, hanging out with family and doing different things. It feels like that week is just for us. You run up so hard to Christmas Eve and it's so much work, and then boom, 3 Christmas Eve services, and then Sunday being online. It seems like such activity, and then it's like, let's catch our breath, and all of a sudden the new year's here. That's how it feels to us.
Yeah.
But everybody has their own routines. But thank you for being here.
It was a great weekend for us. Christmas Eve has really become one of those weekends, one of those services that we really get geared up for. We haven't been doing a Christmas Eve service very long. We've only been doing it for a couple of years. I think the first one we started was back in 2019, I believe was our first one. And so, man, we've just been excited about jumping in there. And this year, we had a great time going with the idea of story. And I believe that if I remember correctly, the title of it was Once Upon a Time at Christmas.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. And so really playing off of the idea of stories and how powerful they are, and then being able to tell the Christmas story. Why do you think stories are so powerful?
I think stories just touch something deep within us. Can't remember how many stories there are. And I can't even remember the terminology. There are like 10 great story types out there.
Okay.
It may not even be 10. I know it's out there. How many great stories are different categories? There's the heroine, there's the damsel in distress, there's the guy down on his luck that makes good, the Horatio Alger type stuff. There's just all kinds of stories. They touch something deep inside of us. I think they're things that resonate in a story. Jesus used them like crazy,
Michael, why do you think we gravitate towards stories so much?
I don't know, I guess it's because they're relatable.
Okay.
Like you kind of feel like, you could you insert yourself into the story as a character.
Yeah.
Whether you fit that role or not,
At Christmas time, and it seems like at Christmas time is one of those times that stories really show up, right? We got the classics that we all kind of gravitate back towards too, whether it's, It's a Wonderful Life or The Grinch or Charlie Brown's Christmas, that kind of stuff. But then Hallmark's making a killing off of telling stories or telling the same story in different, with different characters.
different mediums.
different cities and different country towns and that kind of deal. But we all gravitate towards these stories. But for us, it always comes back to the story of the birth of Jesus. And that's really what we celebrate back here at Christmas time. That's what we walk through with our Christmas series, but it's where we camped out with at the Christmas Eve service as well, was focusing on the idea of telling the story of the birth of Christ and how powerful that is, and how every other story kind of comes out of that at a Christmas time as well.
There's this guy named Robert, I think it's Robert McKee, who's considered kind of the godfather of screenwriters in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a book called Story. People pay, they did, I don't know that he offers it anymore, but they paid thousands of dollars to go out and spend, maybe tens of thousands to go out and spend a week with him, just learning how to tell stories. And there's such power in stories.
Yeah.
I watched, months ago, I was watching a reaction video, which is really seems kind of sad on the surface. I'm watching people watch a video, which is anyway.
My kids do that when they're watching other kids play with other people's toys.
Yeah, wow, really out there living life to the fullest, aren't we? But anyway, it was a reaction video to the Star Wars Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And without ruining that for anybody who may not have seen it, there's
you can ruin it.
It's old, but there's this big reveal kind of at the end of that season, I guess, and they showed these really passionate Star Wars fans watching this big reveal, And it just blew me away at how, I mean, we're talking grown-ups, adults, some of them big, bearded, burly men were crying at that. Because they get to see this character who they remember in their, maybe many of us in their childhood, just coming back in a very special way. And I watched that and I said, wow, there is so much power in storytelling.
Yeah.
This generation responds to great stories. And whatever you think about Star Wars or whatever else, stories are incredible. They grip people's hearts. Michael said something as well, that we put ourselves in a story.
Mm-hmm.
One of the elements of a successful TV show and possibly other genres is, in a good story, there tends to be, in many of them anyway, there tends to be a character in there that is you, the viewer.
Right.
There's a character in there, and you see all the other crazy characters through the eyes of the one guy. It may be the straight man, you know, the guy who you tend to identify with him, and you watch him reacting to the craziness around him in ways that are relatable to you. And I guess a good storyteller asks, how would a normal person react to this crazy guy coming in? And that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's like you insert yourself in it through the eyes of a character. And they almost give you a character. They give you a character that's a vehicle to your identification with that story.
Yeah, like in The Office, it's Jim.
So Jim would be the normal
Like
guy.
he's the normal guy, and there's all this wild stuff happening around him, and you're kind of like watching his reaction to everything that's going on. You know.
So it's kind of like me in our office
Yeah.
situation. And I'm just kind of responding to everybody's craziness around
I
me.
don't know.
Is that how it works?
That's how it works in my head.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure. In the Andy Griffith Show, which is
Yeah,
older,
it's Andy.
it's Andy.
Yeah.
You got Andy at the center of everything, and you got Barney and Floyd and everybody else
Sure.
acting crazy and doing funny things, and you kind of start to look at it through his lens and say, wow, what a crazy world. But it's a fun world to be in, you know. But the stories are so powerful, and we've looked at some great ones over Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Some really great Christmas movies and stories, whether you like them or you don't. Those stories get so identified with Christmas, you know. I did see a video where I'm making it sound like I sit around and watch videos all day.
I'm about to say,
I
we're just
don't,
gonna,
but,
I watched this video. I watched that video.
I saw one where Bruce Willis got up and declared that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I think he was put up to that. I don't think he actually believes that.
Do you believe Die Hard is a Christmas
I
movie?
do.
I've never seen Die Hard.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea
me
even
neither.
what it's about.
Well, then I guess I have to be the expert here. Then I say
You're the
yes.
only one.
I'm the
I've
only
never
one who's
seen
seen
it.
it. So
You're
yeah.
the only one that can confirm, right?
I'm sure glad that we could confirm that here on this
Yeah, yeah.
on this video cast as well. But
Yeah, it's very
maybe,
important to this.
maybe getting back to Christmas Eve and
It's Christmas.
you know,
Christmas.
you know, our stories that we're telling of the story of the birth of Christ as well. I think the other thing is that to keep in mind is that while we looked back at the Christmas story and the story of Jesus entering into the world in a human form, he's also using our lives to tell a story as well, that we get to play a role in a story that's being told, and there's some power that comes in that. There is truth that's being revealed in that. We've all got our own character flaws in the midst of that as well, but Jesus is still using us to tell a story, and hopefully that story points back to him.
He certainly is. He certainly is. Our lives are a story. Somebody said your life is a book that people read.
Yeah.
And they do read that. They watch what you do. They watch how you act and how you live. That's it's reality.
Michael, when you think about our Christmas Eve services, what was your favorite part?
Gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I don't know.
I know there was a lot of different elements that went into it.
I think I liked obviously liked our staff video.
Yeah, that was a good one. That video was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's always funny.
That single's probably never coming. But yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But no, I I don't know. I like looking back at all the like classic movies
Yeah.
and their stories and
Yep.
kind of just running those up besides the real story why we celebrate Christmas. I like all that.
Yeah.
I like looking at all the Christmas time is such a cool time anyway, where it feels like the whole world just decides to like be in a good mood and like celebrate something.
Right.
So I like looking back at all the classic stories and kind of running those up against like, yeah, the real story.
Very good. How about you? Do you have a favorite moment from our Christmas Eve services?
Did I have a favorite moment
Yeah.
from our Christmas Eve services?
Yeah.
I love going into it. I just love the whole focus on stories. You know, I've seen the books that we're going to do, the projection. You know, that's going to be really cool. All that, and just the idea of Jesus' story. We're looking at it's the Grinch and the Elf. We're looking at, which you've wanted
Bunch
to
of
do
them.
a Christmas series based on Elf somehow.
I just think it's there. I mean,
Folks,
Maybe
that has
that's
been
next year.
That has been great.
Give us a comment what our Christmas service should be next year.
Listen, I don't want it just to be the Christmas Eve service. I want it to be the Christmas series leading up to
Okay.
Christmas.
Now,
as
before
well.
you go crazy, it's all going to be from the Bible. Understand this. We're not
Yeah,
taking
look.
the script from Elf and making it into a sermon,
Yeah.
but we can.
There are so
theme
many
that.
elements. There are so many elements in there to come out of that movie. It'd be great.
Well, tell us one.
Well, I mean, there is. Okay, so what is the whole theme of the movie? It is the idea that Buddy the Elf is on the search for his real father. I mean, he's
That's big.
trying. I mean,
Yeah.
is that not something that just jumps out and screams, "Hello, Jesus"? I mean, is that not pointing us back towards the
That's
Father?
really cool.
Yeah.
There's
So many of these movies do. They really do.
Well,
and
I-
you think about It's a Wonderful Life. It's what would the world have been like if I hadn't lived?
No.
And it speaks to the value of every human life.
Yeah.
Powerful story. Think about the Grinch. I haven't watched the Grinch for years. I remember it when I was a child, but I
Yeah.
just haven't watched it for years. But you just see the conversion. Literally, you see the heart growth. Literally, and
Yeah.
you see a Grinch, and I think we all have some Grinch lurking down in there that Christ can change. I mean, you've got that. There's just so much. There's so many powerful stories around Christmas.
I think that's what points back towards why we're kind of going this route for Christmas Eve anyways, with it being, Once Upon a Time at Christmas, is because all of these great movies, all these great stories that we look back on fondly, they all have an element of our faith that is intertwined in them as well. And so
really
it's
do.
easy to pull Jesus and his birth through that, which is why we're kind of even going this route this year.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the actual Christmas story, Jesus' birth? What's the part of that story that jumps out to you the most when you hear it every year?
It's different every year, I think. It really is. I don't know really how to answer that. There's so many. The setting is always really powerful to me. The nativity scene, we talked about it a lot over this Christmas season. My mom loved those things, and I've got them. I probably mentioned that I bought one for Christmas. I love those things. I just love to look at it. It's just something so powerful about. I love how you've got the good nativity scenes. You've got the baby Jesus, and everything points to him.
Yeah, he's at the center of it.
You've kind of got the choice when you buy it how you're going to set it up. You really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, the only right way to do it is set it up. Now you've got the old Mr. Bean video, which I also love so much. If you haven't seen it,
Go watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
the Mr. Bean thing. He gets in a department store and they've got a nativity set there, and there's toys all around, so he starts moving these toys in and out of the nativity set, and actually a dinosaur comes in, and then he gets a helicopter to rescue Jesus out of it. I mean, it's pretty funny, really. I don't think there's anything sacrilegious about it, but I just thought, man, Mr. Bean taught us something. When the real world gets involved with a nativity scene, what happens, But I guess I just love that whole scene, the whole thing of nativity. It's just,
Yeah.
and thinking about God as a baby, just think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
God in human flesh started as a baby. I can't even wrap my mind around what that was like for Mary and Joseph to raise a child
Sure.
who was the very Son of God.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thinking about that's got to expand our mind.
Talk about too, like they said. I think Mary was like 16 or something. How old was she? They say
Younger than that, so
like 15.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we don't know.
we don't know, but yeah.
No,
She wasn't like, she was super young.
Right.
Typically, they married girls.
Really young.
Joseph was probably
That
a
age.
little bit older, but still really young. And I enjoy. I kind of laugh at how we talk about like Silent Night all the time, about how it's kind of not a great representation of probably what that night was. It was a holy night, definitely, because of what was happening.
Right.
But in the physical world, it could not have been a less holy night or silent night.
The song does speak to the peace of God that's in
sure.
our hearts because of what happened there.
Yeah.
But I don't think,
I mean,
maybe the night itself after he was born was silent and peaceful. It may have been, but his birth brought a lot of turmoil.
There was
to everybody's life.
like a 15-year-old giving birth in like a barn, and they had to put him where like pigs eat.
Yeah.
That's not exactly. And then he was trying to get murdered. Like
Yeah.
the king was trying to kill him. So I mean
There's a lot.
it is a holy night, obviously, because of what was happening. But I always laugh at in the physical world. Gosh, it was probably just crazy. Like it was probably nothing like we picture it in our modern day depiction.
And then Bethlehem and the area surrounding after the birth of Jesus was brutalized by the killing of all young men
Yeah,
2 years and younger. There's an Old Testament scripture that was fulfilled in this where it says about the women of Ramah, Bethlehem, weeping for their children,
Right.
not being comforted. That's actually a messianic prophecy from the Old Testament. So it was a tough scene, a tough situation
Interesting
for that
stuff.
city. They didn't feel very blessed initially that the Messiah was born in
Right.
their town.
yeah. Kind of see why after that.
Yeah,
I
after
mean,
all that's going on.
Really. Anyway, Christmas Eve has become this wonderful time for us.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it for years.
Yeah.
I didn't. We had our very firmly entrenched Christmas Eve traditions
Right.
in our family.
Yeah.
And so that's how it was. So I viewed it through that lens. My wife was telling me forever, we need to do a Christmas Eve service. Everybody, we need to do a Christmas Eve service. And I resisted it because I just didn't think it'd work. I thought, everybody around here just has their traditions, And we thought we'd try it one year. I kept hearing it.
Yeah.
We finally said, okay, let's just do it. Let's try it. Well, the first year it was full.
Yeah.
People showed up like crazy and people got saved.
Yeah.
And you fill the place up and people get saved.
Yeah.
We won't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did it again, and it's I think the second year was maybe the year we hit COVID.
That was right.
We
Yep.
had a great big wonderful service plan, and I was diagnosed
Yeah, that's
with
right.
COVID.
Yep. Went online.
23rd, and everything went online
Yep.
because you had COVID right before that. Then last year we came back and did 2.
Yep.
And that was just last year was spectacular, beautiful. And then going into this year, we're doing 3, and it's just so much fun. It's become for us, it's only year 4, but it's become a tradition for us that I so look forward to. I really do. I wish we'd done it sooner.
Yeah.
I'm excited about doing it from now on.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to kind of bring this one to a close for this time around.
Yeah.
Excited about as we end up and begin to wrap up 2022 and then look ahead to 2023. It's going to be a good time for us. Really excited about what God's going to be doing and
Yes.
excited about continuing these conversations with you guys
Be a
and
big
some of the
year.
rest of our staff as well as we do these sermon recap videos. All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you guys,
Thank
and we will see you soon.